Dear Leo, can I ask you something before we begin? Have you been feeling like something big is coming but you can't quite explain what it is? That quiet build-up. That pressure behind your ribs. That moment just before lightning strikes. If suck now this, you're not here by chance. You didn't click on this video randomly. You were guided here. Because something is unfolding. And you, radiant Leo, are at the center of it. This is eternal mindfulness, and today I bring you a powerful message from the universe that may very well change the course of your journey. In just a few hours, a chain of rare, divine events is set to begin, events that will lift you from where you are now and place you on a path of rapid rise. You are not just going to survive this phase, Leo. You are going to thrive, glow, and lead like the lion you were born to be. The universe is not testing you anymore. It's rewarding you. Because you've done the work. You've faced the fires. You've walked through doubt, held your ground when no one else did, and now it's time. And trust me, his is not just another horoscope video. This is a portal. A spiritual mirror. A doorway into the next chapter that's already vibrating around you. The energy in your field is golden right now. And I've seen it in the cards too. The Sun. The Wheel of Fortune. 10 of Pentacles. These three rarely appear together. But when they do, they speak of abundance, recognition, and destiny fulfilled. I want you to take a breath with me. Feel it. Something has already begun shifting. Can you sense it? And just so you know you're not imagining this, I invite you right now to comment below. I'm ready to receive what's meant for me. This single line will align your energy with the flow that is now headed straight toward you. Write it like a promise to yourself. Because you are not here to beg for blessings. You are here to embrace them. You are not here to prove your worth. You already are the proof. And before we dive into the specifics, the three streams of unexpected money, the timeline of events in the next 72 hours, and the spiritual practice that will unlock even more. Let me take a moment to say this from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you for being here. Every like, every comment, and every subscription brings you deeper into the soul family we're creating here at Eternal Mindfulness. Your support is the light that keeps this channel glowing and allows these life-shifting messages to keep reaching those who need them most. So stay with me until the very end, Leo. Because what the universe is about to reveal to you is not just surprising, it's extraordinary. And something tells me you're ready. Are you? Let's begin. The moment you step into alignment with what is already meant for you, the world begins to respond in ways that feel almost supernatural, though in truth, it is simply the unfolding of a deeper order. And Leo, what I see for you right now is not the result of luck or coincidence. It is the flowering of what has been growing silently beneath the surface for quite some time. As the sun, the ruler of your sign, moves through a powerful phase of illumination, your energy field is being charged with bold clarity and magnetic presence. This astrological moment is not subtle, it's radiant, expansive, and filled with the potential to birth something lasting. When the sun returns to touch your inner fire, it doesn't just shine light on your path, it reminds you of who you truly are. The one who was never meant to follow, but to lead, never meant to shrink, but to ignite. In the cards, this is mirrored with remarkable precision. The Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, and Ten of Pentacles, a triad that rarely shows up together, have arrived now to speak one simple truth. A new chapter of abundance and recognition is forming under your feet. The Sun confirms what your soul already knows: you were never lost, only learning. The Wheel signals a sudden shift, a divine rerouting of your course that takes you somewhere much higher than you imagined. And the Ten of Pentacles? That's the legacy. The long game. Not a fleeting win, but a deeply rooted stability that ripples out into your family, your work, your future. You don't need to force anything anymore. That season is over. This is not a reward given to the most aggressive, or the loudest, or the most perfect. It is something more sacred, something that moves toward those who have done the inner work in silence, who've learned to hold space for themselves when no one else did. There is a quiet kind of power in being able to wait, to listen, to keep showing up. That is the strength that cannot be taken, only revealed. And now, things are starting to reveal themselves. But not in the way you might expect. The turning point won't necessarily come wrapped in fireworks. In fact, it may arrive as something unassuming: a message, a conversation, a decision you make without fully knowing why. Yet when you look back, it will be that moment that marked the start of it all. That was the door. The ripple. The subtle flicker in your awareness that told you, something has shifted. This is where your attention becomes your most valuable resource. Just as a still lake reflects the moon, your inner stillness will reflect what life is trying to show you. The more gently and consciously you hold your space, the more clearly you'll recognize the opening when it comes. And it is coming. The moment you sense that internal nudge, that whisper of, yes, go there, or now's the time, follow it. That voice may sound quiet, but it is grounded in wisdom deeper than logic. In the teachings of inner mastery, there's a reminder that real change never comes when the mind is busy chasing; it arrives when we are present enough to receive. When we let go of the question, when will it happen, and instead embody the knowing, it's already in motion. That shift from reaching to receiving, just exactly what's being asked of you now. So breathe. Stay attuned. And know that this moment is not just about achieving something external. It's about the internal restoration of your sense of rightful place in the world. No more proving. No more hiding. The fortune that's turning is not turning by chance, it is responding to you. You, Leo, are the signal that set this shift in motion. When the energy of abundance begins to move toward you, it doesn't always arrive in the form you expect. Sometimes it comes quietly, like rain on dry earth, unnoticed at first, but deeply nourishing beneath the surface. And Leo, right now, that rain is beginning to fall for you. The financial shift that's opening up is not just about numbers in your account. It's about the restoration of value, your value in the eyes of the world and, more importantly, in your own perception of yourself. The first stream is already forming through the work you've been cultivating, the income that comes from your gifts, your skills, your current vocation. This is where the light you've consistently offered outwards begins to return inward. Promotions, increased client flow, unexpected recognition — this is the universe mirroring back the effort you've long put in, even when no one was clapping. You may even notice that people who once overlooked or doubted you are now seeking your expertise, your insight, your leadership. It's not personal revenge. It's divine timing. A reflection of your growth, not their delay. But the second stream is even more mysterious. This is the income that flows from what you cannot control, what you couldn't have planned if you tried. An old debt returned. A check you never expected. A project that reactivates when you'd nearly forgotten it. Think of it like a hand reaching toward you from behind the veil. Not everything must come through force. Some wealth is gifted, not earned in the traditional sense, but accumulated karmically through the kindnesses you extended long ago, the value you gave freely, the support you offered without agenda. This is the part where you remember, not everything you give disappears. It circles back, sometimes when you need it most. The third source is what I call the horizon money, the wealth that hasn't arrived yet but is moving toward you because of how open and tuned in you've become. This stream emerges through new opportunities, creative collaborations, investments, ideas that once felt too small to matter but now begin to spark. It might be a new business idea that keeps showing up in your thoughts, or someone casually mentioning a partnership that feels random. But it isn't random. It's your intuition sharpening, becoming a compass. And the more you trust it, the more you'll find yourself aligned with doors that open before you even knock. This is also the time to honor the principle of right action. As things begin to move financially, the question is not just how much you receive but how consciously you handle it. Discipline is not restriction. It's freedom in disguise. When you learn how to manage what you have, tracking, simplifying, protecting, you create a container strong enough to hold more. You wouldn't pour gold into a leaking vessel. The same is true for wealth. Be honest about your relationship with money. Are you afraid of it? Are you rushing to spend it to prove something? Or are you building a foundation? Practical steps matter now. Educate yourself. Understand the value of saving, of investing slowly, of staying grounded even in times of expansion. Avoid rushing into deals that are emotionally charged. The more stillness you bring into financial decisions, the more power they will hold. In some traditions, clarity is seen as the highest form of wealth because when the mind is clear, it no longer seeks from lack, but gives from fullness. You're moving toward that fullness now, Leo. You don't have to prove anything. Just allow. Let what's yours return to you in its many forms. Let your hands stay open, not clenched in fear, but gently ready to receive. As the energy of prosperity begins to move more freely in your life, what truly expands is not just your finances but your very experience of being alive. There's a shift happening now, Leo, and it goes far beyond what's sitting in your bank account. You're stepping into a new frequency, one where money is no longer something to chase, but something that flows to you as a result of alignment, clarity, and presence. This change, while external in its expression, begins internally with the realization that you are no longer seeking proof of your worth through struggle. Financial ease has a strange way of softening our breath. When we stop running, the nervous system settles. The mind quiets. The body begins to trust again. You might notice, almost imperceptibly at first, that your appetite changes. Your sleep deepens. The tension in your shoulders begins to release without you even trying. These are signs that your energy field is shifting. As you return to a sense of internal safety, your body follows. This is why true transformation always happens holistically. It moves through the emotional, the physical, and the practical all at once. Simple practices like deep breathing before bed, adding more greens to your meals, or switching from overstimulating habits like late-night caffeine to grounding routines like quiet walks or candlelit journaling. These are not small things. These are acts of care that ripple outward. Your body is not just a container, it's a communicator. It tells you, long before the outer world does, that abundance is here. And in this opening space of stability, something beautiful happens in love. Whether you're currently in a relationship or not, your capacity for connection deepens. You're no longer looking for someone to fix you, complete you, or save you. You are meeting others from a place of fullness. For those in relationships, this may look like fewer arguments, more understanding, and a sense of emotional safety that didn't exist before. For those who are single, someone may enter your life not with fireworks but with peace. And peace, though quiet, is where love actually grows. Your family dynamics may shift too, not always because others change, but because you do. You may feel called to take more responsibility not out of pressure, but out of a quiet knowing that you can. That you're ready. This doesn't mean carrying everyone's burdens. It means being a lighthouse, steady, lit from within, unmoved by the storms around it. In healing your relationship to security, you become a source of it for others. Sometimes this means having the conversations you've avoided. Sometimes it means writing the letter you'll never send, just to finally say what your heart has held for years. That, too, is an act of love. And perhaps most beautifully, as your life becomes more stable, you'll find yourself drawn to something greater than personal gain. You'll want to share what you know. To give where you once withheld. To teach, to support, to uplift. This isn't obligation, it's overflow. When the cup is full, it pours. And Leo, your cup is filling. You may begin to feel a quiet nudge to speak up, to mentor someone, to turn a passion into a platform. Follow that instinct. It's not ego, it's purpose. When you step into that space, money becomes a tool, not a goal. You begin to build legacy, not just income. This stage of your journey is not about acquiring more, but about becoming more. Becoming clearer. Kinder. Stronger without hardness. Softer without losing your center. And in that becoming, life begins to reflect your growth in ways no chart could fully predict. Because the most beautiful thing about your evolution now is not what you're receiving, it's who you are while receiving it. Once you begin to shift from asking, "When will it happen?" to declaring, "I'm ready to receive," you activate a completely different current in your life. This is the quiet but powerful turning point where intention moves beyond thought and becomes energy. Leo, you are now entering a space where the law of attraction is no longer just a concept, it becomes a living practice. And just like the wind cannot be seen but can be felt, the forces working with you right now cannot be measured in logic but will be reflected in outcomes that speak for themselves. What you focus on expands. This has always been true, even before you were aware of it. But now, you have the awareness, and with that comes the ability to choose your point of attention deliberately. When you begin the day not with worry, but with a few minutes of clear visualization, seeing your bank account growing, picturing yourself receiving, creating, offering your gifts, you don't just change your mindset, you alter the magnetic field around you. And this field, this invisible resonance, is what begins to pull resources, people, and timing into your orbit. Writing down affirmations like, "I welcome prosperity," or "I am ready for my highest life," is not about trying to convince the universe, it's about training your own consciousness to stop arguing for your limitations. Each word you write becomes a seed. The more consistent you're planting, the more inevitable the harvest. And this is why commenting something simple, just a line that affirms your readiness, is not just interaction, but a ritual. You are not writing for me. You are writing for you. Declaring it in a public space makes it more real, more embodied, more witnessed by life itself. But the law of attraction is not only mental. It is also physical. The state of your outer environment influences the signals your subconscious picks up. If your space is cluttered, stagnant, or holding on to items that no longer represent who you're becoming, it sends mixed messages. This is why clearing the southeast corner of your home, traditionally associated with wealth, is more than superstition. It's symbolic alignment. When you clean that space, when you place a fresh object of beauty or intention there, you're telling life, "I have made room." And speaking of symbols, your wallet is not just an accessory. It's a container of value. If it's torn, overstuffed, or neglected, it quietly communicates that money is not treated with care. Consider upgrading to one that feels elegant to you. Gold or purple are colors that stimulate energetic vitality and confidence. But more than color, choose something that reminds you of your worth every time you touch it. And keep it tidy. Organized money multiplies faster. Scattered energy breeds confusion. Each morning, take 5 minutes. Sit in stillness. Imagine the numbers in your bank account rising. But more than that, feel what it would be like to receive without guilt, to give without fear, to move through the world as someone who no longer struggles, but supports. This visualization is not about greed, it's about restoring balance. So many of us have been taught that suffering is more noble than abundance. But true prosperity is not selfish. It becomes medicine for others when channeled with wisdom. Begin a gratitude journal. Not because life demands your thanks, but because the act of noticing blessings makes you a better receiver. The more you recognize, the more you open. And this act of noticing, of holding space for the good that is already here, allows more to arrive. Gratitude is not a passive state, it's an active power that softens the walls we unconsciously build against joy. There's a quiet teaching in this: water flows where it's welcomed. So does wealth. And wealth, in its highest form, is not just about money but about time, space, clarity, and choice. By aligning your daily rituals with the energy of abundance, you stop waiting for life to prove you're worthy and start moving as if you already are. Because you are. You always have been. And now, it's time to live that truth. Time doesn't always move in a straight line. Sometimes it folds, expands, or sharpens into moments that are more than just hours on a clock, they become thresholds. And Leo, what I see for you in the next 72 hours is exactly that. Not just a window in your calendar, but a soft opening in reality itself. There is a momentum gathering now, quiet and pulsing just beneath the surface, and it's inviting you to step into it with awareness, not urgency. Because when timing and readiness meet, what once felt like waiting suddenly becomes arrival. Within the next 48 hours, something seemingly ordinary may present itself: an email, a message, a passing comment, or even a cancellation. But hidden within it is a shortcut. A ripple. A quiet disruption in the pattern of your everyday routine that, if noticed, could lead to something far bigger. This is the kind of moment that doesn't announce itself loudly, but reveals its power only in hindsight. And that's the key: your awareness. If you're too distracted, it will look like nothing. But if you're present, it will feel like a pull. Subtle, but certain. As you move into the full 72-hour arc, that pull may take shape through money. Yes, literal, physical, measurable financial energy. The numbers may surprise you. It might come through your work, an unexpected source, or a delayed reward finally arriving. The form is secondary. What matters is your response. Do you freeze? Do you question whether it's real? Or do you receive with both hands, without guilt or hesitation, knowing that the seed was planted long ago? This is the invitation now, to allow yourself to receive without resistance. What happens beyond these 72 hours will depend on how fully you walk through this opening. If you do, the rest of the year becomes less of a climb and more of an acceleration. The energy ahead is not about pushing, it's about positioning. You don't need to scramble, you need to align. And Leo, your natural rhythm, fast, focused, fueled by conviction, is perfectly suited for what's ahead. This won't be about scattered opportunities. It will be about one or two key moves that shift your entire trajectory. So choose not based on urgency, but on clarity. Numbers, too, are part of this unfolding. In numerology, they are not just symbols but frequencies, each carrying a specific vibrational imprint. Pay attention to what repeats around you. If you see 888, you are being reminded of infinite prosperity, not just in finances, but in ideas, opportunities, and growth. If the number 28 appears, know that a turning point is near. Often this number shows up just before a reward, one that arrives after you've released something that no longer serves. The number 7 speaks to inner wisdom, the kind that comes not from experience alone, but from reflection. And 17 is your phoenix number, the number of rising from what tried to hold you down, and doing so with even more light. These are not predictions. They are patterns. And your awareness is what activates them. When you notice a repeating number, whether it's 111 on a receipt or 1717 on a clock, pause. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking? Because the moment you pay attention, you're no longer a passive observer. You become a participant in your own unfolding. This practice, though simple, is profound. It trains the mind to recognize alignment as it's happening, not just after it passes. There is a quiet wisdom that says, the door doesn't open when you arrive, it opens when you notice it. The next 72 hours are rich with these doors. Not all will be visible to the eye, but all can be felt by the heart that's awake. And Leo, yours is wide open. Let it guide you now. Let presence be your power. Let clarity be your compass. And watch as time, numbers, and circumstances begin to move not against you but with you. And now, dear Leo, as we come to the end of this journey together, I invite you to take a deep breath, not because something is ending, but because something within you is beginning to awaken. If you've listened this far, it's not by chance. You've always known, deep down, that there was something greater waiting to emerge through you. Not something outside to be chased, but something inside to be claimed. And now, the moment is here. You don't need to keep running. You don't have to keep searching. What you've been chasing has already turned around and is walking toward you. The flow of abundance, clarity, opportunity, and recognition, it's not just coming, Leo. It has arrived, because you have. And when you realize that you no longer have to prove your worth, but simply allow yourself to embody it, everything begins to shift. The world mirrors back what you believe about yourself. So ask yourself now, lovingly and honestly, what kind of reflection are you ready to see? You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to sit quietly in the background while others speak your truth. You were born under the sign of the lion for a reason. You are meant to lead, to shine, to inspire, not by force, but by example. Every step you've taken until this moment, even the ones that felt like detours, have carved out the strength you now stand on. The trials, the doubts, the heartbreaks, they didn't break you. They revealed you. This is not the end of the path. It is the claiming of it. So what would it feel like to stop waiting for someone else to hand you the crown, and to instead place it gently on your own head? What if this moment right here, right now, was the shift you've been preparing for all along? Let yourself feel it, the readiness, the courage, the quiet fire that's been growing inside you. The top is not some distant mountain you must conquer. You are already standing on the summit of your own becoming. The only thing left is to recognize it. And when you do, the world will too. So I ask you, what part of this message spoke directly to your heart today? What action are you willing to take this week, no matter how small, to confirm that you're ready? Share it with me. Write in the comments, I am ready to claim my crown. Not for applause, not for validation, but as a declaration that your life from this point forward will be guided by presence, purpose, and power. And if even one sentence here resonated with you, if you felt even a flicker of remembrance, of alignment, of coming home to yourself, then please, give this video a like. It lets me know this message reached you in the right moment. Subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness so we can keep walking together, and you won't miss any of the signs and messages the universe has yet to send your way. Above all, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for believing maybe just a little more deeply than before that you're worthy of the life you've imagined. Your energy, your light, your willingness to receive is what keeps this sacred space alive. So here's the truth, Leo, you don't need permission to rise. You don't need anyone to open the door for you. You are the key. You always have been. Now go, not with urgency, but with certainty. Because the crown has been waiting for you all along.